Good day, people, and today I'm going to be talking about how you can start looking for job if you are a medical laboratory scientist. Whether you are registered with HCPC or you are not registered with HCPC, you still have a chance. You've got a chance. These are different areas that people don't really pay attention to, but the opportunity is there for you as a medical laboratory scientist that is a graduate with work experience in different countries, whether you are in Africa or you are in the UK, US, Canada, anywhere all over the world. But I'm going to be majorly using the UK platform as an example because I've taught people this a lot again and again, and I think I should just post it on a video so that anybody that needs it will be able to access it. So this video is majorly for the medical laboratory scientists. So the first step is for you to look for this platform. We call it Track Jobs, but it's track.job. Let's go through it. So you go to Google and search for Track Jobs. You can see I've been there severally, so mine is already showing. So when you get to Track Jobs, you will see this page. It's majorly different routes, different platforms where you can find jobs. But let's pick the first one as an example. Whether you've logged in or you have not logged in. Like now, I've not logged in. You can log in, register, put in your email so that you will have easy access. And before you can even do your applications, you have to log in so that the applications will be stored for you and you'll be able to monitor the progress of the application. So you're going to log in. But at least to have a view, to have an idea of what you are going to be seeing, let's go through it without logging in. So you click this. Because we are talking about medical laboratory scientists today, I want to focus so that I don't just scatter information all over there. I'm going to be talking about the medical doctor, the nurses, the healthcare assistants, and other paramedics that can work in the health sector along the line. Hopefully I will have time to record those ones. But today I want to focus on this. Let's go for medical health science services. When you come here, you look for biomedical science. Biomedical sciences will cover medical laboratory scientists and their assistants in all their fields, whether you are an hematologist, you are cytologist, whichever area you belong to, you will be able to find your own discipline here. So normally I'll mention the name, like maybe a medical laboratory scientist or medical laboratory assistant, but you never can tell, because you are not in the UK, or you are in the UK already but you've not been in the system. You might not know the names that they call the different capacities, different job roles here. They've got enormous job roles. In fact, you will see so many options, but it's better to just leave that keyword space empty because you don't know where you can find your own job. So here we've already picked in biomedical sciences, and here normally if I'm the one looking for the jobs, I'll pick the band that I want. But because we want diverse, I'll still come back to maybe streamline it or reduce the number of outcomes that we are going to be having. But for now, I want to leave it blank so that we have as many options as possible. We leave the UK part. We leave, that's generally UK, isn't it? Then the location, if you have a priority location, we have so many options. Like if you have people in these places, oh, your friend is in Cambridge, you want to go to Cambridge, no problem. If you have priority, if you have a place that you're looking for, because NHS is everywhere, isn't it? If you have friends, if you have families, I will advise that you probably pick places that are closer to them so that you are not in isolation. But if you don't have anybody in the UK that you know, just leave it blank. It's okay. So we are going to leave it blank, any location and any organization. So let's search. Drum roll. So like we are saying, these are the outcomes that we've got. These are the great outcomes that we've got. So this is for microbiology, associate practitioner. Let's see, for the first one, the when you look into it like this, you have to read. You have to read what exactly the job role is. Because, okay, they've said associate practitioner. What does it mean exactly? It is important for you to be able to read it so that you can know if it's something that you can deliver. At least me and you, we know that this person will have a degree in medical laboratory science. So let's see if that's actually what they want. So they want somebody that can do this, that can do that. Yeah. So experienced biomedical scientist and managed by the laboratory team leader. So that's the team that they have. Once trained, an associate practitioner is required to assist the biomedical scientist to supervise and train the lower grade biomedical assistant staff. Can you say that? So that's exactly the role that they are putting out. So the post holder will be required to work on site as appropriate for the delivery of the service, and you read all these things. Anyways, what is important now is main duty of the job. So you read that. Where I need to show you is the requirement area. Make sure you read these things in total so that you understand what exactly you are putting yourself into and the kind of job. Some people will like hands-on jobs on the bench, while some people prefer teaching, training, all this academic part. So read in total the main duty so that you know which area they are actually employing for. If they are employing for academic part, somebody that will be assisting a scientist maybe in the training and supporting of the upcoming scientist, it might actually be more of academic than practical. And if they are employing an assistant for somebody on the bench, they will state it there. That might be a hands-on experience more than academic part. But here in the UK, both of them, you will still do paperwork. There's nothing you can do about that. So you still have to be sound in your brain, sound in your mind, sound in your head, and be ready to take on the role. So let's go. You read the duty, then the working for our organization. You have to read that as well, because you will need all this when you are writing or when you are submitting your applications. You have to apply all this. You have to give them what exactly they want and ensure that you are capable of delivering it. I am sure a lot of guys are capable of delivering all these things. We are very good people. We are really good at what we do. We are passionate and we know the job. So I'm not really worried about that. So detailed job description and main responsibility. If your employer is going through this pain of making sure they spell out things, make sure that you yourself, you are able to read all these things and be ready to answer questions in that direction. We'll talk about how they do their interview in another episode. So now, specification. They want to know if this person has appropriate level 5 qualification or equivalent. Thank God. So in this kind of case, you don't actually have to have HCPC registration. What they want is appropriate level 5 qualification or equivalence, which your degree certificate should be enough. So if you are whining because you don't have HCPC registration, shake yourself off all the loads and start looking for these jobs. Start applying. They don't require HCPC registration in this one, so anybody can apply. Okay, so level 5 qualification is just one of these certifications that they do here if you don't have a degree. So there's level 3 certification, there's level 4, level 5, all those things. But a certificate, a BSc certificate, will be able to cover for this level of certification. So basic keyboard or IT qualification. Yes, here everything is computers, so you have to be able to type. You have to be able to use Microsoft Word, and they will have their own platforms where they store patient information, patient results. So you have to be able to use your computer. You have to be able to type and be able to manage files, folders, and all that, save information. So your experience, proven experience in a UCAS accredited laboratory covering duties explained in the job description. Now, this is where the difference is, because we are international, or we didn't study in the UK, so you will have to explain or mail the person in charge and ask if you can apply. Experience of working in a clinical microbiology laboratory. Yes, you already have that. Whether you just finished as a student or you are already working for a long time in Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa, anywhere, I'm sure you have the experience. Clinical microbiology laboratory. Yeah, communication and relationship, you can see all these requirements. Let me not just waste time on them. And I also want you to pay attention to the fact that some of these requirements are just like how they write the job descriptions. It might not really be compulsory that you have these things, but if you don't ask, you will don't know. So some job descriptions are generic, that they might actually be press of staff, and anybody with experience in this field might be considered. So it might be generic job description that you have to ask questions, put in your application and see if they will be interested in taking you in. What is important here is that HCPC registration is not required. Every other thing you will be able to provide if you are international. And if you are already in the UK, lucky you. This kind of job, get it immediately. So, additional information, make sure you read everything here as much as possible. DBS, everybody will do DBS. COVID and all that. Yes, this is where we want to know. Application from job seekers who require current skilled worker sponsorship to the UK are welcome. You are welcome to apply. Oh, that's good. So they want to know, okay, you don't have any criminal record, you don't have any worries. So if you are international, this post is for you. Look at that. Even the first one that we are checking, because I've not even checked before I started this video. The first one that we are checking already is offering you the opportunity to come abroad with your medical laboratory scientist certificate. So you don't have to wait. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for HCPC registration for? So immediately you graduate as a medical laboratory scientist in Nigeria, South Africa, Ghana, you can actually take this role because it's like an assistant role, not just the general healthcare assistant that everybody's shouting. In your own field, you will be in the lab or with your own colleagues, in probably a university or something. I don't know. When you read, you will know. But this is NHS. It's probably going to be in the lab. So everything is in the job description. Run now and go and apply. So this is the first one we are seeing, and I'm so happy that we actually see that it's open for international applicants. So this is good. So since we've seen that, what is next is for you to apply online. So you apply, you log in, create accounts, log in, and fill in all the spaces. I didn't log in. If I log in, I would have shown you how to fill it, but I'm sure you'll be able to handle that. So you fill in all your details, your work experiences, your trainings. Make sure you elaborate. They love examples here, and I don't blame them. Examples made them to be sure that you can handle the job. If you have done it before, that means you can do it now. Yeah, that's enough experience. So they love examples. Give examples. When you are filling the form, there might be supporting information or something. Talk about yourself. Talk about how many years you've spent in the lab. If you have not even done any job in Nigeria, I'm sure you did an attachment to the laboratory or somewhere when you were in school. So that means you already have an experience and you know what exactly the job is about. So put in your application and you can have this one. Another thing I want to say is that the reason why it's easier for people that have come abroad to study, probably do a master's course on their degree, is because whether they work in the lab when they're in the UK or not, they already have an idea of how the system works, because most masters will also have an attachment, isn't it? So with that, they probably would have had an encounter with the laboratory and know how their system works and have better language, the language that the people want to hear when they're asking you questions. How do you do this? How do you do that? Immediately you say, okay, this so is done this way. For instance, when I was working so, I did it like this, I did it like that. So, they already know how to answer these questions. They already interacted with these people. But if you are in abroad, you also have a chance. This is a very good opportunity for you. But let's check another one and see. And another thing I want you to notice is that this is band 4. Band 4, band 3, band 2, they are all assistance level. Immediately you are crossing to band 5, band 6, you will really need a certification. Like you will need to be registered with HCPC most likely. So this video is for everybody, whether you are registered or you are not registered. So let's go and see if we can find another one where people will require HCPC registration, because there are people that have registered with HCPC even in the country, even in Nigeria and other countries, but to find job is difficult. I don't know why it's difficult, but let me just show you how you can do it so that at least we are clear about that. So we have seen band 4, we have seen band 4 before. This is band 5. This is for training. This is band 2. Band 2 might not have sponsorship. I don't know, but let's see. Band 2 might be too low. Okay, to work in the UK, all candidates who are not UK or Republic Island national require sponsorship to obtain either this visa or this visa, unless you have permission to work in another route. Non-UK wish to apply should self-assess the likelihood of obtaining sponsorship by visiting this. If you are eligible for health and care visa application, costs are lower and you do not need to pay the annual immigration health surcharge. So they actually mention it for band 2 position, but I'm not sure they will offer it if they have alternative candidates in the UK that doesn't require sponsorship. Band 2 is always very low, but you can be lucky. You can be lucky. This is band 2 and it's for people in what's that, cytology. Yeah, so this is for cellular pathology. Is assistant support work, assistant position in cellular pathology. So that means you have to be interested in cytology and all that. So this is a very good one, but I'm not sure they will do sponsorship. So at least they mention it, so there's no sin in trying. But band 3, band 4, if you're an assistant, you can actually be confident that you might get sponsorship. Okay, so let's go for band 5 and band 6. This is another one. Okay, for band, make sure you read the job descriptions, because positions here, they have different structures. NHS, you might think everything NHS is hospital. Everything NHS is not hospital. There are places that they are research based. There are places that they are training based. There are places that they are actually patient oriented, doing the normal daily routine laboratory investigations. So don't assume. Make sure you read the job description, know what they want. Some of them, they even put the hours. Look at the hours here, 8:30 to 5 p.m. in the evening. So you have to know early shift, late shift, and you'll be able, even there is night shift, so you'll be able to put pick whatever shifts you want when you meet them. Yeah, like I said, if it's going to be band 5, band 6, you will need HCPC registration. Applicant must be HCPC registered and hold an IBMS specialist portfolio. When you are doing the HCPC registration, you will understand what this portfolio is about. That's a very huge space for another time. It's not something we can just gloss over. So when you are making your application, if you are already HCPC registered in the abroad, anywhere in the world, this job is for you. So you will see which area you want to specialize in and you'll be able to pick up the job. So if band 5, band 6, there will be sponsorship, it's certain. So there's really nothing to worry about in that regard. So you will read everything here, and you can mail. They always put who to contact, really. They always put, yeah, they'll put the detail of the person that you can contact. So if you contact this person, you can ask directly if you can apply, or you should not just waste your time. But most of the time, from band 3, band 4 and above, they will be sponsored. You will have to pick the job based on where you're specialized. And if you are not yet specialized, lucky you, you can actually work anywhere and still, diversify and reorientate. So let's see these other parts that I've not been paying attention to. The main area: specialist biomedical science, hematology, band 5 or 6. The contract is permanent, so hours of work will be 37.5 hours a week. Job reference number, that's the one, the employer will be this one. NHS, yes. Okay, so the salary will be between 28,487 to 42,618. This will depend on you and your year of experience. If they eventually employ you as band 5 or band 6, this will be the salary range. Okay, so the closing for the application is 28 August. 28 August. Apply before 28 August so that you can be part of those that they will start talking to and start preparing for interview if you are shortlisted. If you are not shortlisted, they will still give you an email to tell you that unfortunately we will not be proceeding with your application. And if you are shortlisted, they will say congratulations, you are selected for an interview. And if you are selected for an interview, my friend, talk to people that are already working in the UK. Talk to them, call, ask questions, so that you have an idea of how it works before you go and be talking gibberish in front of your interviewer. So I wish you all the best. Let me see if there's any other thing that I really want to cover before I finish up. We are really lucky to find options that are really good. So these are plenty jobs. See, plenty jobs. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's even more. There's so many jobs. Every day there's job. Every day. Band 3, band 4, assistant level, you will see plenty options. So don't be scared that you are not yet registered, or you are still waiting till your HCPC registration is up. Don't waste any more time. Go now and register. The experience you've gathered during your housemanship is enough for you to get a job abroad. As an assistant medical laboratory scientist, you'll be able to work either in hematology, pathology, chemical pathology, others. Anywhere, you'll be able to work with the experience that you've already got. Please put in the effort and submit as many applications as possible. Like, share, subscribe so that you can see the next one. Not just that, so that at least you'll be able to when you subscribe, other people around you that are also interested or in need of this video will be able to get them. So that's the reason you should subscribe. But turn on the notification button so that you can see the next video in your line. Another tip is for you to actually have a write-up, maybe Microsoft Word document where you put in everything that you submit to people. Have a Microsoft Word document where you talk about yourself, your experience, and where you have those examples written out, so that they are not far-fetched. They are not something that you start thinking about. You have to have them written down. If they ask me how I did have experience in hematology, these are the examples I want to give. If they ask me how I have experience in chemical pathology, these are the examples that I want to give. So have that ready, have that on ground, so that it's easy for you to actually communicate and have a streamlined thoughts. Another exciting part of track job application or the platform is that when you submit one application for one organization, you could actually submit this same write-up for so many others, except the job expectation is different. The job descriptions read them very well so that you can see if there's any difference, if there's any more requirement that they want that you need to include before you submit their own application, and you can add that in the supporting document or the supporting information area. So look at the job description, see if the same application that you already submitted, you can submit for this, you can submit for that. It will bring out that option where you can submit for NHS in London, submit for Gloucestershire, submit for West Midland. You can submit the same application for multiple NHS advertisements. So that's a beautiful one. Make sure that you give in your best, do your best in the application, do your best in your interview, and you are welcome to the UK. I look forward to seeing you again in another video. Bye.